On Saturday, June 25th at the Beacon Theater, I will be at the Festival of Minds. Now, I'm not a speaker at this event. The speakers include an A-list roster of Cornel West, Coleman Hughes, Daryl Davis, Blair White, Tim Pool, and a bunch of other people that you've heard of, James O'Keefe, a bunch of people. You see the list right on the screen, but I will be in the area because it's in New York City. I live in New York City, so if you want to come out, I'll definitely meet some of you. I'll definitely be like, hey, and then you could be like, Sean, you need to get on this stage. You better than everybody on this stage. Festival of Minds, link in the description. As I'm sure many of you guys are aware, out there on the internet.com, there are virtually no new ideas in Hollywood. In fact, what constitutes a new idea in Hollywood is taking a franchise that has had multiple different iterations, rebooting it, calling it a prequel or a sequel, and making sure you have a strong female lead or a strong female minority lead, but whatever, as long as it's got a strong female lead, strong minority lead, because we need this to be progressive. And a perfect example of this, a perfect distillation of this phenomenon at work, is Hulu's new trailer for Prey, which is a prequel to Predator, and I believe the 5th installment if you don't count the Alien vs. Predator or any of the other fan films or whatever related to the franchise. And we're going to go into this trailer. I'm going to point out how ridiculous this is in every possible way, but first, we got a sponsor, and unlike this trailer, which is not gold, our sponsor is all about gold, Noble Gold Transition. With inflation at 8.5% or maybe even higher, don't you think it's a good time to secure some of your assets and start hedging against inflation? Don't you think that maybe playing everything in the market is not the best idea? This is why I recommend you go over to noblegoldinvestments.com and think about starting a precious metals IRA. And luckily for you guys out there in my audience, if you go to noblegoldinvestments.com or call them at 877-646-5347, you listen to their experts and you decide to put a qualifying investment into Noble Gold, then you will receive as a gift a 3-ounce American Virtue coin, which is absolutely beautiful, and again, it is free with a qualifying account with them. Amazing in every possible way. noblegoldinvestments.com. Check it out today.
Why do you want to hunt? Because you all think that I can't.
So this trailer opens up with some cheesy dialogue about how this young girl wants to be a hunter, but her native tribe happens to be one of those non-two-spirited tribes. It actually happens to be one of those patriarchal tribes, so therefore, she's not allowed to hunt, even though she wants to hunt, and I got a feeling, in my heart of hearts, she's definitely an excellent, great, fantastic warrior.
I saw a sign in the sky. I'm ready.
And we're gonna find out through the course of this movie just how strong and correct she was on her initial assessment that she should be able to hunt because she's such a strong warrior. In fact, the IMDb description, the synopsis, legitimately calls her a strong female warrior in the synopsis, just so you know, in case you were confused about this.
Maui. Nita.
So I just need to say this, I need to put this out there, I need you guys to know this. Every single time you see a dog in a movie, that dogs are a crutch of bad writing. If you don't have any way of connecting somebody to your characters, if you're trying to create sympathy for your characters, just throw in a dog. Oh my god, the character's so wonderful, she's a dog lover, oh wow, the dog died, isn't that horribly sad and embarrassing? And I'm not saying that you can't use this in any movie. John Wick used this effect to great effect in the first installation of the franchise, but that's because Keanu Reeves was actually a likable character in that movie, and that actually grounded him to something in his past. But right here, you see the dog, it's so cute, she's working with the dog, I'm sure the dog's gonna die because you don't see the dog in the rest of the trailer, and then you're gonna feel really bad because, oh, look, a cute dog. Don't you love dogs out there in America? Well, she loves dogs too, that makes her like you out there. Wow, look at this dog, wow, so cute. So beautiful. So we see our main character, strong female Native American woman who is stunning and brave and beautiful, shoot a bear the arrow hit the bear, and then the bear chases her into a wooded thing, and it just goes to show us all out there in the audience that she's not the great hunter that she believes she is. Why is she hunting a bear alone? This makes no sense. What was her plan when the first arrow didn't hit? Obviously nothing, and it's a bit embarrassing. Now, you might be thinking to yourself that I'm just nitpicking. You might be thinking to yourself that I'm just highlighting this portion of the trailer that is meant to show her character progression throughout the course of the film, and it's not really indicative of bad writing or a misunderstanding of the source material. And of course, if you think that, if you type that, if you put it in my live chat, if you're agreeing with that mentally in your mind, if you hold those feelings in your heart, you're 100% wrong. Compare and contrast this to the opening action sequence of the original Predator. In that action sequence, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse the Body Ventura, his whole crew absolutely dominating the rebels that they're going up against. In fact, this scene is so comically over the top that it's actually funny until you realize throughout the course of the film how genius this scene is, because the whole point of the Predator is that it wants to hunt the best. The whole point of the Predator is that it's looking for a challenge. So what that movie did so intelligently was show us how over the top 80s action guys these guys actually were before the Predator disassembled them one by one. Compare and contrast this to a scene like the opening scene from Avengers Infinity War, where Thanos, in single combat, beats down the Hulk without using a single Infinity Stone. The reason this scene is so effective is because we've seen the Hulk dominate throughout the course of time that he's been in the MCU, and Thanos, this new up-and-comer, stomps him out without any assistance from the magical Infinity Stones. This scene would not work if instead of the Hulk in single combat, Thanos was fighting Hawkeye's kid sidekick from the Hawkeye TV show. So you need to understand what the point of establishing an opening scene and establishing a threat actually is before you craft your scenes around these cliches about how this girl can't even stop a bear, but somehow she's going to be able to stop the Predator. Obviously, this is a contradiction. Obviously, the Predator, based on the lore and the mythology that we know throughout the course of the movies, would not go after this girl because she is weaker than a bear. In fact, there's no reason at all whatsoever for the Predator to hunt the bear because the bear doesn't represent a significant challenge to the Predator. The whole point of this creature, what we've seen from the lore, is that it goes after the top of the food chain, the badass guys, and it humbles them. So showing us with this girl being completely humbled and completely incompetent dilutes the entire premise of the Predator from the jump, and yes, it is important, and yes, it's unforgivable.
There's something out there. I'm coming with you.
You can't.
I'm trying to protect you.
Protect me from what?
So then, of course, you have generic cliche dialogue. She's going up to the man in the tribe and saying, I need to come with you because I need to protect you. And the man's like, no, you can't come with me. You're completely incompetent. Remember, you said you shot a bear with an arrow with no backup plan, and then you ran and hide, and this thing had to save you. So obviously, we got this. You stay home. You go knit your dolls. You go fix the teepees. They're Native Americans. I don't know what Native American women did, and neither does this movie at this period of time, but you're not coming with us. And they all go out on the hunt for the Predator, and then there's very cliche text on the screen. They hunt to live, it lives to hunt, which is a big faux pas for me in these trailers. I just want something original. I'm sick of narration, I'm sick of cuts to silence, and I'm also sick of these generic texts being put on the screen to be like, oh my god, guess what, we're building up to the thing that you know, because the only reason you're watching this is because it's connected to the Predator franchise, and you know what Predator is. This is probably going to be the worst movie in the Predator franchise, so trust me, you know what it is coming in, because it's the only reason that you're going to watch this. Also, we have no faith in this, because we're releasing it directly to Hulu. It's basically the equivalent of straight to video, which for those of you who are younger out there in my audience, we used to have VHS tapes, these rectangles that were black, that actually had movies on them, and we would go to a place called Blockbuster, or Hollywood Video, or a neighborhood video store, in order to rent them. Then we would watch the movie, and when the movie sucked, we couldn't just stream a different movie. We had to continue watching and commit to it, because that's how things were back in the day when I was a kid. So I know you guys don't understand that. I know you guys think that my past is as far past as the Native American history, which is about 300 years ago, but trust me, this is how it used to work. Now, a lot of people have talked about how a predator would do in different environments, different eras of technology, and this, for some reason, is considered a very interesting concept to people out there to debate online, especially when it comes to movies. But here's the thing. It's actually not that interesting. The predator carries an atomic bomb on his wrist, meaning that there's no way that these natives with bows and arrows are going to be able to stand up to the predator. So while it might be entertaining to watch this thing slaughter everything in this movie, it doesn't really work in the way that you think it works. It's like all those people who thought Terminator would be really good if we saw the future, the Terminator timeline, when everybody's used to killing the Terminators. But in reality, Terminator works best when you have one of these indestructible things in the past, mucking up the past, and nobody has any idea how to deal with it. Predator works against the current top peak level of our military technology, because that shows us what a threat he actually is. If we see Predator lose to bows and arrows and axes made of stone, he doesn't seem to be like that big of a threat when you forward him into the future and people are shooting at him.
It knows how to hunt. I know how to survive.
Again, we have more cliche dialogue about how it knows how to hunt, but I know how to survive. And obviously the answer to this is no, you don't. You definitely don't. You're basically a Darwin Award winner. Remember when you shot the bear with an arrow with no backup plan and you had to hide in the trees and the bear would have killed you if not for the predator. Now, while the opening bear scene is unforgivable, as I've stated a couple of times throughout the course of this video, because it means when the predator starts killing these people who aren't even competent enough to kill a bear, you don't really feel the impact of that. I do have to give them credit for actually showing the predator's blood. Now, I know this is a reference, this is a callback to the original Predator, but the reason that scene was crucial is because the Predator works better when you feel like you have a chance at killing him. I remember, I think it's the Shane Black directed version of the Predator, where they're just shooting the thing and bullets are bouncing off of it left and right, and it's essentially indestructible like Superman, and that takes the tension out of the movie because you're like, well, there's no real way that these humans can fight back against it. At least in the original movie, they theoretically had a shot, thus making the scenes more tense. So they try to recreate it in this movie, but all the other factors in this movie completely undercut the chances of this actually being good, and we're gonna get into a few more of them because this trailer is about to get ridiculous.
Knows how to hunt. I know how to survive.
Yeah, you just saw that right. This girl decided that she was going to tie a string to a tomahawk and fling it around, and for some reason that tomahawk hitting the trees has weird metallic effects, and it's like, oh my god, look at how amazing she is. With her, with that string and the tomahawk, you saw how she threw it and yanked it back and threw it and defied all the laws of physics. She could definitely beat the Predator, who's equipped with an atomic bomb, projectile weapons that are sophisticated, and all manner of alien technology, including a stealth camouflage from Metal Gear Solid. Again, just look at her throw that. Aren't you intimidated by that? Remember, she says it knows how to hunt, but she knows how to survive, and then throws that and then throws that there. Now, obviously, we know she doesn't know how to survive. She doesn't even know how to take cover when hunting for something like a bear. She decided it would be a good idea to go out with a dog to hunt a bear. So obviously, this ain't the best person in terms of being a reliable narrator, but look at how badass that is. She just flinging that axe and flinging it back. Oh, wow. So amazing. Strong woman, man. Like, wow. This is like the equivalent right here of seeing the 80s action heroes fight against the Predator. This girl throwing an axe into a tree with minimal technology. I'm sure the atomic bomb that the Predator has totally don't stand a chance against this. I mean, come on. So here we get to the absolute worst part of this movie by far, and of course that is the appearance of white people, who in this movie are your stand-in for your colonizers. They're bad people, but that's not even why this is the worst part of the movie. The reason why this is the worst part of the movie is because these evil white racist colonizers are showing up with guns. They have muskets. They're not sophisticated weapons, but they are better weapons than presented to us by the natives throughout the course of this movie. Remember, this girl is tying a string to a tomahawk and throwing it against a tree. These guys have projectile weapons, which obviously wins any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And that, of course, begs the all-important question, which is, why is the Predator not hunting the people with the better weapons that represent the better challenge, and is wasting his time with the natives and this little girl with an axe on a string? Why is the Predator killing a random bear in order to save a girl because of plot contrivance, when you have these people who are more sophisticated, more organized, have better technology, and thus represent a better threat? Now, of course, the Predator is going to kill all of these white people. They're all irredeemably racist and bad. They're all evil white men, and we all know that evil white men are evil, white, and racist. They're all of those things. But the thing is, this is a Predator movie. He should be going after the dominant threat. This is like watching the Predator go after the villagers that were being slaughtered by our team, by Arnold and his crew in the beginning of the movie. Obviously, they are not as sophisticated as the Commandos. Obviously, they are not as big a threat as the Commandos. Obviously, they're not as big a challenge as the Commandos, but sure, we're supposed to just accept that they're not fighting against the colonizers, the evil colonizers. The Predator's going after the natives because the natives are just, I guess their bows and arrows are even more effective. I guess they won the wars between the colonizers because their bows and arrows and their tomahawks on strings are more effective because they let women fight. Now, the other reason that this is definitely lame, and I am calling my shot right now about this, is because this movie is entitled, for those of you who are unaware, Prey. It is not titled Predator, and it's not titled any variation of Predator, meaning that these people being victims is the central focus of the story, meaning that there are probably multiple Predators and not just the one that we call Predator.
Whatever did this, I can kill it.
You already know, for a fact, from watching this trailer, that the real threat to the Native Americans, the real problem that they're going to be facing, the real predator in this situation, are the evil white racists, are the colonizers. This movie isn't a Predator movie. This is oh my god, aren't natives in such a bad position because white people are so bad kind of movie. And maybe, just maybe, after the Predator wipes all of them out, the native will get peace with the Predator. They will realize that they are symbiotic and kill off all the colonizers, or at least the ones in the immediate area, or something. You know, the plot is going to get totally derailed at somewhere around the midpoint to the second to third act, and this is what you're going to be dealing with. And even if they do stay focused on the Predator, you're going to hear dialogue about how, oh, we're so worried about this alien, but we got all these European aliens coming over here and destroying our land and our nature, and so bad, white people, man. I don't know if you guys know this, but in a way, the real Predator is like white people. I don't know if you guys know this, but in a way, there's no difference between the vicious hunting for sport of the Predator and how white people treat Native Americans. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. The real Predator, the real animal in this situation, the real monster is white people. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Predator's at least looking for a sport hunt, so the Predator's not so bad because he's looking for a sport hunt. The white people, they're looking to exploit the situation because we all know white people so bad, man. Why people?
Oh, so you said that it was a white guy. What happened?
Now look, this movie's already included with Hulu, so I will likely watch this, and if you guys are interested, maybe I'll review this. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe this Predator movie, Prey, is gonna nail it. Maybe we're totally going to believe that this strong little girl who can't even hunt a bear is the threat to kill the Predator. Who knows? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Now, if you like this video, you can show me by leaving a like. You can subscribe for more content. You can follow me on all my social medias that are linked in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the Prey trailer. Till next time.